Hey, what's going on YouTube? How are you? Hiker Dave here. I've got a couple of things I want to touch on in this video today. First, I want to thank Sean Payton for contributing to my PayPal. Because of his contribution, I have just today purchased a new pair of hiking boots. Let me show you. Yes, sir. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I need new gear. I need new camera gear. But that is a great beginning, and I really do appreciate it. So thank you again. If anybody would like to help support my channel and some of my gear, I need new camera gear, new audio. Anyways, just go to my my email, and the PayPal and Patreon is there in my email. So let's get to it. So if I didn't ask, how are you? Thank you very much for coming by, you guys. I have a little update on this CWD, this chronic wasting disease, that is really kind of freaking me out a little bit. And I have a little update that was sent to me by Scott from Bigfoot Explorer. So let's get into that right off the bat. And then after that, I just want to talk about predators. Does Bigfoot have predators? And if so, what would they be? So let's get to this. This came out in 2 days ago. This came out in February 19th, 2019 at 3:25 p.m. How's that for detailed information, right? So this is from the MDWFP, the Mississippi Wildlife Fisheries and Parks. Chronic wasting disease confirmed in additional Mississippi counties. This is from Mississippi Wildlife Fisheries and Parks. The Mississippi Department of Wildlife Fisheries and Parks received confirmation a female white-tailed deer from Panola County and a female white-tailed deer from Tallahatchie County tested positive for CWD. These are the first deer to test positive in both of these counties. I've learned some more things about this, but let me just finish this here. During the 2018-2019 season, the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks received 7,000 samples through hunter-harvested, road-killed, and reported diseased deer. To date, Mississippi has 15 confirmed CWD positive and 4 suspect positives awaiting confirmation. So here's a little bit of what I have just recently. I have been all over this story and researching it. So not only can it lay dormant in a hoofed animal for 2 years before showing symptoms, it can be spread to rocks, soil, grass, branches, leaves, or whatever the infected animal comes into contact with can be affected. It is contracted through saliva, blood, feces, urine. For instance, if an infected hoofed animal dies due to the disease, or it just dies, of something or other, the ground that it dies on now becomes infected for a substantial period of time. It will stay in the soil. Even if the carcass is gone, the surrounding soil, gravel, leaves, rocks retain the disease long after. That that's amazing that a rock that a deer could rub its nose against out in the wild, right? And another, say a moose or an elk or something comes along and rubs its nose on that rock or against that tree branch or against that pile of leaves. It can contract the disease from just that contact. It was also, I was watching another video where the question was asked, well, how would say you privately own land and you have a fenced-in area and you have your own herd of deer. Well, all it takes is for a deer that has this CWD to come up to the fence and touch noses with one of your deer, of your herd on your property, and that is how it is. That's how it spread. Something as simple as just that, two noses touching each other. That's how simple that is. So it seems to me that this is just going to mushroom. This was like 60 years ago is when this first had come out, or something like that. Don't quote me. I had the information in my last video, but it is now beginning to spread like wildfire. And like I had said in a prior video, it has been studied by scientists to potentially be passed on to monkeys or primates. And that is where I had come into the thought that what if Sasquatch eats tainted deer meat and the deer has no sign of having any health problems whatsoever? Hopefully that's not the case at all. Humans, also, I hope to God that this doesn't pass to humans. There is no cure for this disease, and the end result is death. There is no cure, and there is no stages of this disease. Once you have it, as a deer or elk, moose, once they contract the disease, it is incurable, and it will kill the animal. So let's go on to this next topic I wanted to talk to you guys about. And this is something that I always had thought predators of Sasquatch, right? There is none. Sasquatch is the top of the food chain, is something that for me, my opinion, I just assumed, there is not a creature out there that's going to take on a Sasquatch and live to tell about it. But I also have been looking into larger predator animals that could give Sasquatch a run for its money. Let's start with something a little smaller, mountain lion or a cougar. Goes by a bunch of names: panther, catamount, mountain screamer, gray ghost. There's a bunch of names. I think it's in the Guinness World Book of Records for having the most names for this cat, pretty much. It can live in almost any habitat. It can grow up to 250 pounds. Its hind legs are larger than the front, which gives them an incredible jumping ability. It can jump up to 18 feet from the ground up to a tree or a ledge or a rock or anything that it feels like it wants to. 18 feet is amazing. They stalk their prey. They feed on anything from mice to coyote to moose. They really, whatever they feel they can creep up on, that's their diet. So, I picture a 250-pound cat. I'm 265 pounds. I'm 6'4", 265. If a cat that large jumped on my back, I don't like my odds. Your instinct to survive, your fight for survival is adrenaline would be pumping, but I would have to say that might be a losing battle. If that cat gets its jaws on your throat, I think you might be all done, crush your windpipe. But picture a 250-pound cat jumping out of a tree onto a Sasquatch. But, the Sasquatch you're talking could be 8, 9 feet tall, 10 feet tall, weighing anywhere from 400 pounds to, 1,000 pounds, right? But you can't tell me that that a mountain lion wouldn't do damage to that. Possibly enough damage where it could injure the Bigfoot to the point where it might not survive the injuries. So it's funny because I only have a couple of animals here that I believe could kill a Sasquatch. Another one that I did little to no research on because it's self-explanatory, and that's a venomous snake. I don't think that Bigfoot is immune. Or, even just saying that, maybe Sasquatch is immune to the venom of a rattlesnake or a diamondback or whatever, cobra or something like that. Living in the forest, living out constantly in the wild, I find it hard to believe that a Sasquatch has never been bitten by a snake. And so I don't know if they have their own herbal remedy. I spoke on about that in a past video about them using herbs out in the wild. I mean, that's their life, to live in the wild, in the forest, and maybe they know about herbal remedies and such. I really don't find that hard to believe either. That's not far-fetched to think that Sasquatch would have knowledge of plants and stuff like that in their area. But nonetheless, I mean, that's something, you get bit by a snake, a rattlesnake bites a Sasquatch, you could be 2,000 pounds, and that venom is still going to run through you. So that was just a thought. This next one, all right, we're talking size, viciousness, and I'm going to talk about the bear, right? So I picture Sasquatch, a formidable foe for Bigfoot would be a large, huge bear, an angry bear. So let's start with the black bear. So a black bear in North America, I'm speaking of, can range anywhere from 150 to 600 pounds and stand on its hind legs anywhere from 4 to 7 feet. They live in United States and Canada. Very intelligent. They live in heavily forested areas, and they can actually manipulate door latches and open jars. They're an intelligent creature, a black bear. Second on that list would be grizzly bear. Now, a grizzly bear can be anywhere from 400 to 800 pounds. It can stand on its hind legs anywhere from 5 to 8 feet tall. If you've got an 8-foot Sasquatch and an 8-foot tall grizzly bear at 800 pounds, that is a battle royale. I guess I wouldn't like to see it, but I'm curious to know how the Sasquatch would fare. My opinion, an 800-pound grizzly bear against an 800 or 900-pound Sasquatch, I think that Bigfoot wins that fight, but not without injuries. This is what I'm talking about. Sasquatch being hunted, not for food either, and I don't mean that because I don't think a bear is going to tear apart a Sasquatch and eat it for food. But I think that there are interactions between the two that could potentially become violent. Next is the brown bear. This is something, when I was doing research for this video, I could not believe the size that a brown bear can get. A brown bear can be anywhere between 600 to 1,400 pounds. 1,400 pounds. It stands at 4.5 to 9.5 feet tall, standing on its hind legs. 9.5 feet tall. A brown bear. Imagine a 1,400-pound brown bear at 9.5 feet, almost 10 feet tall, squaring off with a Bigfoot. They can be up to 5 feet tall on all fours. They live in Russia, United States, and Canada. Very, very powerful predator. I would, again, I'd hate to see it, but boy, imagine it. Just imagine that fight. Now we go on to the Kodiak bear. No joke here. The Kodiak bear can be anywhere between 800 to 1,400 pounds and stand from 8 feet tall to 10 feet tall on its hind legs. 4 to 5 feet tall on all fours. It lives in Alaska in the United States. It is a land carnivore, and it is a eating machine. I have polar bears in here as well, 750 pounds to 1,500 pounds, standing 8 to 10 feet tall, 5 foot tall on all fours, in Russia, United States, and Canada. Those numbers, the size, the weight, the height that they could, a brown bear or a grizzly bear standing up on its hind legs, swiping at a Bigfoot, as a Bigfoot is swiping and doing its best to do battle with a huge, massive bear that may be actually the same weight and size as a Bigfoot. I'll tell you, incredible. The thought of that is really something. And I never really thought ever that Bigfoot would have a predator to ever have to worry about something, that Bigfoot, their main worry is humans, hunters, and being seen. And I think that we can add to that at least bear. If not the mountain lion, at least a bear, a 1,400-pound, 9.5-foot tall bear, going after a Bigfoot because maybe it got too close to its cubs. I don't know. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about who wins that fight. A 9-foot tall Sasquatch probably weighing in at 1,000 pounds, and a 9-foot bear on its hind legs weighing in at 1,200 pounds. What a battle that would be. Anyways, I appreciate you guys coming by. I really do. And I'll definitely see you guys on the next one.